Today I'd like to show you the newest member of the data acquisition family at Fluke, the Fluke 2638A Hydra Series III data acquisition system in DMM. The 2638A is a 20 to 60 channel data logger that measures and records DC volts, AC volts, DC current, AC current, resistance, frequency, RTD, thermocouple, and thermistor. Let's take a walk around to the 2638A front panel, and then we'll set up a test and run a test. The front panel on the 2638A has DMM input ports up to 300 volts Cat2, as well as current AC or DC to 100 milliamps with resettable front fuse. Function keys for soft menu selection and navigation. USB port for USB flash memory to control and move your data and setup files. Numeric keypad for entry, and a standby button. The main buttons on the 2638 are these 6 buttons in this grouping here. You'll notice that they're backlit. They tell you what stage you're in and what's going on with the 2638 at any time. Let's go through and do a setup of a scan sequence on the 2638. One of the first things you would do as a user would go to your instrument setup button. This allows you to set up your preferences for 9 other languages. It shows you your firmware, allows you to set your date format and your time formats, allows you to set up brightness and keypad beeps and IP addresses. So now we've set up our instrument, let's set up a test run. So let's set up channel 101. Edit channel. We can select our input. In this case, it's thermocouple type K. We have the selections of thermocouples, thermistors, PRTs, DC voltage, AC voltage, resistance, and frequency. We'll stay on thermocouple. We're also able to apply a label to this channel, which is recorded in the data file. You can enter a label through the navigation keys and this alphanumeric pad. You have the ability to set 2 alarms on each channel. These can be high, high, low, low, or high, low alarms that can be directed to an alarm output at the back of the 2638. And all channels have the ability to do an MX plus B, which is a gain and offset for scaling of various signals. So we've set this channel up. We also, at this point, have the ability to copy this channel and paste it into all the other channels that we have in the system, if in fact that's what we desire to do. So we've set up a channel, and I've set up a few other channels prior to this. So now let's go through and either save this setup file, or I can run it as it is. I'll choose to just run it at this point in time. So to start a test, we go into the scan button. You have options on how you'd like to view your information. Let's quickly go to the data screen. Here, as you can see, we have the channel numbers, the readings, and the timestamp of the data is being taken. We can go to the statistics portion and view the various statistics that are being recorded on these channels. Here we have the average, the maximum, the minimum, the peak-to-peak value, the standard deviation, and the rate of change. The rate of change can be set for hour or minute. We also have a graph view that we're able to see with the 2638. So by pressing graph, we have a graph selection of the active channels. We can graph up to 4 channels of any of the active channels in the system. So let's select channel 1, channel 2, 3, and 4. It's best when graphing with the 2638 that all channels you choose to graph are in the same units. In other words, temperature or AC volts. We're able to go in on this graph and do manual scaling. We can zoom in, zoom out, and move the graph up and down. We also have a history mode. So after we've collected data for a particular period of time, we can go through and scroll back through time to view the chart and the trends as they happened. The other way to view this data is through a monitor mode, here under F5. In the monitor mode, you view the individual value for the channel on any one channel at a time. You can also view immediately the statistics on that channel, including rate of change, peak to peak, and others, the standard deviation, for example. Okay, let's pause, or let's stop the scan session, confirm. So let's go to the memory section. Let's take a look at the internal files we just collected. As you can see, we have setup files, scan data files, and DMM files, which we'll speak about in a moment. I'd like to go to the scan data files. I'll select that. Here are the scan data files that are within this 2638. So you can see the one we just did is at the top of the list, and the setup file name is there, val_test. I'd like to move that data to my PC for further analysis. I push Manage, I insert my USB, and I wait for the 2638 to recognize it. And I simply copy to the USB. I can choose a different name or keep the same file name we have now. Push Save, and we'll copy it to the USB. It says copy is complete. At this point, I remove my USB and take that to my PC for analysis.